The world is forcing me to have a transformation I'm not ready for. This winter, my dearest Rococo passed away. My best friend since 2011. We had been through so much together. I was not ready for her to go. She was 17 and lived an amazing life. It was expected, yet unexpected. Something so many of us experience, yet you always hope for more time. On the outside, it may look like I welcome change. I've moved across the country twice with that silly little cat. It's always been things I've planned, orchestrated. I never feared getting older or time passing. I embraced each stage of life as if I was looking down on myself as the author of my own memoir, like a chapter in a book. But with her, I didn't want to change. The world is asking me to have a transformation I'm not ready for.
Hi everyone, happy new year, happy 2025. Thank you for letting me be a little bit vulnerable with you all. It has been a really hard winter and a hard new year for me so far, and the year has just started. But I did just want to share some of my resolutions for the new year, just in case there's anyone like me who has just kind of been staying in hibernation mode and is having a bit of a challenge with the idea of time passing. I've always been really excited for a new year, and it just gets harder, and I think that's something that every year, some of those things changing, it's just gonna get harder and harder. But I did want to share my resolutions, some of my thoughts. I have some very traditional New Year's resolutions planned for the year, as well as some things that I think can often get overlooked in our very go productive hustle culture. And yeah, I just really want to slow down this year. I do have some exciting things and goals for 2025, but really my bigger message is to really slow down and live in those moments, because it is those little moments that make up life. So that's my overall thought, and kind of I guess motto for the new year is really just that slowing down and appreciating things. And so for my 2025 New Year's resolutions, the first is to read more books. Every year I have a book goal, and that has waxed and waned over the years. It's also changed by the different types of books I'm reading. And so this year I really want to focus on classics, traditional classics, as well as more of the modern classics. I started this goal later in 2024, where I wanted to journey through more classics, and I felt the decades that I really like are the 1910s to 20s, as well as the 60s. I really like books written in those time periods. And so for my reading goal, I want to read a classic, a fantasy or sci-fi, and one other book per month. These doesn't mean I have to finish all 3 books in a month, though. Yeah, some months I can read quite a bit and other months not so much. It depends on the size of the book. But yeah, I want to be able to mix up kind of the genres that I'm reading. And there can be overlap where the fantasy or sci-fi book I'm reading is a classic or a modern classic. But yeah, I just want to kind of make sure that I'm focused on paying attention to the genres that I'm reading. My second goal is to have a clean and organized home, and really coming at this from a place of gratitude. I feel the longer I live in a space, the more you can think of oh, I wish I had this, or I wish I had that, but this is my dream apartment from if I was in my 20s telling myself this would be where I was living. I would be so grateful and excited. And so remembering that when I'm cleaning or organizing, just really to have that gratitude mindset. really, yeah, appreciating the things that I have. Doesn't mean that we won't end up moving somewhere. I tend to always, anytime I move to a place, like we stay in the same apartment for years and years. So yeah, that's just something for like an organized home that I think if I have like that mindset, it'll be easier to declutter, to have everything have a place when I'm really thinking about how much I love where I live. I also have some work project goals. So I graduated with my PhD in summer of 2023 and started working right after that. And I've been at my job for a little over a year now. And so for my work projects, I really want to publish a couple of papers and reports. So with my PhD, I have one paper left that I need to publish from my dissertation. So I have two of my chapters published and one I submitted in November. And so I'm still waiting for reviews back. It's under review and I hope that it'll just be a revise and resubmit because that would be so great to be able to have all those papers out. For my work, we don't typically do like peer-reviewed publications, but I would like to have one of my projects that I'm working on have a published report on the government website by the end of the year. I also wrote down to have a conference submission. Even if I don't attend a conference this year, it would be nice to submit something. I used to go to a lot more conferences as a student, and I haven't been. Yeah, in 2024, I didn't go to any conferences, and in 2025, yeah, I might not end up going to a conference, but at least submit. I think that would be nice. For travels, in my 2024 vision board, I had a lot of travel pictures. I just thought that, oh, I'm working full time, I'll be able to travel more, and we really didn't do any of our big trips, but we had a lot of really lovely smaller trips throughout the year that I really look back on with such like fond memories. So I really hope to do more weekend, shorter trips. We've also been being a bit of like tourists in our own city these past few weekends, which has been really nice, like going to the art museum. And so I want to continue that. One of my like goals for a travel, I would like to do like a wellness retreat, like where it's like you kind of stay at the resort, but they have like meditation and yoga classes and spa. So I would like to do one of those this year. I think that'll be like, maybe that'll be like my big birthday trip this year will be like a wellness retreat. Press and I are planning one like big international trip that I'm hoping will end up going through. And I think that'll be really nice to be able to take some like true time off for like some adventuring. And then I also have, the very typical wellness goals of adding more yoga and meditation back into my life. In 2023, I did my 200-hour yoga teacher training, and I just haven't found like a good routine after that of like regular yoga, and I would love to get back into that. Vitamins, I need to remember to take vitamins, and yeah, really just having those morning and evening routines. I am such more of like a night person, so I feel like I really have a good night routine, but the morning routine is just, it's not there yet. It's not there. And maybe I'll never really have a morning routine. It can be small. I don't know how people have like hours before work. I kind of just like roll out of bed and head onto my computer. So those are my more like traditional specific New Year's resolutions. One thing that I really wanted to take in with my year is really to daydream more. I think I've just always been very goal oriented and really, okay, like what do I need to do next? What are the next steps? Like a very like logical and methodical. And I really just want to take some more time to appreciate that like daydream quality or that introspection, because I really do enjoy those things. But yeah, just with the hustle and bustle culture of today, I find that like sometimes I can feel guilty for taking time to do that. And because I know like I can put my plans and goals and dreams into reality, just being able to be like, yeah, it's okay to spend some time on Pinterest and thinking about like that lifestyle design aspect. So that's something that I really want to like take some time to do, because I do think that life is made up of those. Of course, it's made up of those big things and your big decisions, but it is those like daily things in life, and you can't just be living each day for those big moments. It has to be those little moments too. And so how do I want that to reflect in my day-to-day life? It kind of sounds a little shallow to be like, oh, this like aesthetic is how I envision my life. But I think that there is something about when it's something unique to you, or it's like, yeah, this or something that like an aesthetic that like resonates with you, like, oh, I want to express that about myself in my home and in my clothing. And I want to learn how to play chess. That's something that it can be like a very like aesthetic thing, but I do want to learn how to play chess. I know all the movements of the pieces, and I can kind of hold my own against someone else who also doesn't know how to play chess. But I would like to learn some of those tactics, and maybe like combining that interest with like the vintage classic books, like maybe finding an old used chess book would be a really cool like weekend adventure to do. Just hoping for life to slow down a little bit more. It's been a hard winter, but you know, there are so many things, like these things happen in life, and that's what makes life memorable and beautiful and hard. So let me know what your New Year's resolutions are down below in the comments. Do you have a lot of big goals planned for this year, or are you taking it easy and day by day? I would love to know. Thank you so much for watching and just hanging out with me for this little part of your day, and I will talk to you next time. Bye. Here's my patches.